Jack was a lonely man. His heart had been broken by a woman he loved dearly, and he tried to drown his sorrows in alcohol. One cold, foggy night, Jack was driving home from the bar. He was drunk and couldn't see well through the mist. Suddenly, there was a thud. He stopped the car and looked around but saw nothing. Jack shrugged it off, thinking it was just a pothole, and continued home. Jack was a lonely man. His heart had been broken by a woman he loved dearly, and he tried to drown his sorrows in alcohol. One cold, foggy night, Jack was driving home from the bar. He was drunk and couldn't see well through the mist. Suddenly, there was a thud. He stopped the car and looked around but saw nothing. Jack shrugged it off, thinking it was just a pothole, and continued home. When he got to his house, he stumbled inside and fell asleep on his bed. Little did he know, he had hit a black cat with his car. The cat had been crossing the road when Jack's car came out of nowhere. The next morning, Jack woke up with a pounding headache. He noticed something strange. There was a black cat sitting at the foot of his bed, staring at him with piercing green eyes. Jack blinked, and the cat was gone. He thought he was just imagining things because of his hangover. Days went by, and Jack started to see more black cats around his house. They were everywhere. In the kitchen, on the stairs, even on his bed. Each cat had the same cold green eyes that seemed to follow him. Jack felt a chill run down his spine every time he saw them. One night, Jack was sleeping in his bed when he felt something heavy on his chest. He opened his eyes and saw a huge black cat sitting on him. Its eyes were glowing in the dark, and it started to scratch at his arm. Jack screamed and woke up, drenched in sweat. The cat was gone, but his arm was covered in scratches. He was terrified, but tried to convince himself it was just a nightmare. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. He felt guilty about the cat he had killed and thought maybe he was being haunted. One evening, Jack was sitting in his garden, drinking his sorrows away. The moon was full, and the shadows of the old tree danced eerily. He saw a black cat sitting high in the tree, staring down at him with eyes full of hate. Jack felt a wave of fear wash over him. He couldn't move. The cat slowly climbed down the tree and walked towards him. Jack wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The cat's eyes seemed to glow brighter as it got closer. In desperation, Jack decided to seek help. He remembered an old man who was known to be a man of God, living in a small cottage at the end of town. The next morning, Jack went to see him. The old man, Father Elijah, listened to Jack's story with a grave expression. He was a kind man with a long white beard and gentle eyes. He wore simple robes and had an aura of peace around him. "Jack," Father Elijah said, "sometimes what we think are animals are not always just animals. We must be careful with all life. I believe you are being haunted, not by the cat you killed, but by your own guilt and the spirits that guard the creatures of this world." Father Elijah agreed to come to Jack's house to cleanse it. He brought holy water, a Bible, and a small bell. As he walked through each room, he recited prayers and sprinkled holy water, ringing the bell to chase away any evil spirits. When he finished, Father Elijah turned to Jack. "This house is now cleansed, but remember, Jack, this is your second chance. If you drink again and harm another creature, no one will be able to save you. You must take care of yourself and those around you." Jack nodded, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. He thanked Father Elijah and promised to change his ways. From that day on, Jack stopped drinking and started to take care of himself. He cleaned his house, fixed his garden, and made sure to be kind to every animal he encountered. The black cats never returned, and Jack felt a weight lift off his shoulders. He knew he had been given a second chance, and he was determined not to waste it. He often visited Father Elijah for guidance and became a better, more compassionate person. And so Jack lived the rest of his days in peace, free from the haunting of the black cat, always remembering the lesson he had learned: to be careful and kind to all living creatures.